welcome back to the video. This is Slade and Paid here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the new season of Never Have I Ever. If you've never watched Never Have I Ever and don't even know what the show is, I'm gonna just give you a little rough draft of the previous seasons of what it's about. Well, we have a main character named Devi, and it's really like a coming of age show where she's in high school. She's navigating through high school with, of course, a whole bunch of boys. She's very boy crazy. And her goal, for some reason, is to lose her virginity. So she's trying to choose, like, the popular dude, Paxton. That was a love interest throughout the season to do it. And then she also has, like, this nemesis who she competes with all the time because she's, like, really smart. And he is, too. So they're always competing. They're always, like, the head people in their class. And he also ended up being a love interest as well. And at the end of season 3, homegirl finally do what she's been trying to do, lose that virginity. And yes, this is a kid show. Or a teenage show, I believe. It's kind of odd, but yeah. So season 3 starts off with Devi finally losing her virginity to being the one who she's been in competition with for all these years. And it's a little weird at first. Like, they just sitting there in bed like, what's next? So he's like, do you want me to get you like a cab? Or I think he said an Uber or something. And she's like, yeah. And she leaves. And she tried to like hit him back up. But he ended up like getting some advice from this basketball player, I think. I don't know who this guy is, but basketball player, I think. And the basketball guy tells him to basically ghost her. And that's what he decides to do. That's what he decides to go with. So they haven't talked like all summer. So it's the first day of like senior year. And she finally sees Ben, and she is so shocked to find out Ben has a girlfriend. And it's Margot, the little art girl. So Devi is mad. She's so upset. And she ends up causing a scene in the hallway. A scene so bad ended up making this little old teacher faint. And she also had like ended up exposing to like the whole school that her and Ben had together. And the girlfriend was like, okay, so I already know, like, it's not a secret, he already told me. So Debbie thought she had a one-up on the girl, but she did not. And then they ended up going to the principal office. She ended up getting in trouble. And Debbie ended up going to the her therapist. Because, you know, she talks to a therapist. Ever since her dad died, she always had a therapist. So she talks to the therapist. Homegirl was on her lunch break. Debbie was like, I don't care. I need to talk. I need to talk now. So it's important. So she's like, okay, Debbie, I'll talk. Since you're here, you might as well. You know, this was my hour break. So they talking, and Debbie tells her what's going on and how Ben goes to her, how that hurts her feelings, because she thought that they would be a couple, you know. After you lose your virginity to someone, you know, you would think they like you that much to be in a relationship with you, but that's not what happened with Ben. He ended up being in a relationship with someone else. So she ended up telling Debbie, you know, just to write down all the little bad things that you want to say to her. And Debbie does that. And she's calling her B and all that, you know, a lot of bad names. Not cute, of course. But it helps her out. And then the next day at school, you know, she apologizes. And it was such a coincidence. These boys had knocked their books out their hand, and she ended up seeing the notebook that Debbie had wrote in her therapy session. So when Debbie tried to apologize, it didn't really work out. And she was like, I don't accept your apology. Because she got mad about all the things she seen in the notebook. Oh, and then somebody ended up writing Stupid B on Debbie's card. Because she ended up getting a card for her first day of school. Her mom had gave her her old card, and her mom got a new card. So somebody wrote Stupid B on there, and she thinks it's Margot, of course, because, you know, they had just got into it. And then we also get like a little, they end up showing us Paxton. Paxton's in college. He go to ASU. It's his college, and he's not fitting in. You know, he's used to being like really popular, but he's not popular anymore. He's not the popular guy. He's new to the school. No one even knows this guy, so he's not really fitting in. He doesn't really have the status that he used to, so he decides to leave college. And then we have Fabulosa. She's trying to figure out why there's only girls in the robotics club. And then we have Eleanor. She's still dating Trent. You know, Trent his passing friend. He got held back senior year because he wasn't doing his work, I guess. But he's happy to be a senior. He's not embarrassed at all. I would have been embarrassed to be a senior again. I'd be scared to show my face. If I failed senior year, I'd have to be homeschooled. I could not show back up to that school. But he likes it, though. Oh, and this one blows me. Her boyfriend, Trent, ended up proposing to her. And it was so crazy because they was like, Trent got shot. Trent got shot. And I'm like, don't y'all live in the suburbs? How would he get shot? Did y'all hear a gunshot go off? That don't make sense. How would Trent get shot? So she's panicking. Oh my gosh, Trent got shot. Trent got shot. She goes, he got a whole bunch of, he's laid out on a little couch in the hallway. He got a whole bunch of like red stuff on him. He's acting like he got shot. And then he says, Eleanor, would you marry me? I wasn't expecting that. That was a little chaotic. Would you marry me? What? And she said, no. What do you expect her to say? Of course, no. But he was like, I just feel like I'm not good enough for you. And if you don't want to spend the rest of your life with me, I have to let you go. And they end up breaking up. I guess that's how it usually works. If you don't accept your proposal, the person usually breaks up with you. Well, the relationship usually ends. And that's what happened. Episode 2. Devi is talking to her college counselor. And you already know, Princeton, yay. You know, Devi's a Princeton girl. She's been talking about going to Princeton throughout the whole series. So we already know what college she's trying to go to. So she's talking to the counselor, and the counselor's like, yeah, are you excited for that New York trip? Yeah. It's a trip that all the honor students go to, and they just tour their colleges. So she's talking about that. And she's excited, but also she has to like get the vandalism off her car. So she goes to the little shop and asks the guy, can you take the stuff off the car? And he tells her it's $11,000. That's all Devi has is $11,000 to go to New York. So what I'm thinking is, you must have told that man you had $11,000. Because how did he come up with that number? And it ain't no way that costs $11,000. That's what I'm thinking. That don't cost no $11,000. You told that man it cost $11,000. So now she's like freaking out to her friend. She's like, oh my gosh, yeah, like, what am I going to do? It's either I get stuff off my car or I go to New York. And Fabby Laura's so funny. She said, dang, can't you just leave it on there? I said, can't you just leave it on there? I probably would just left it on there if somebody told me I had to pay $11,000. And the car is silver, right? Shoot, I would have probably painted my car silver or whatever. I don't care. I just have a little patch on that car. I don't care. Or like maybe paint remover. I'd probably try to get some paint remover and like, I don't know. But I would have did it myself. Forget that. I'm going to New York. You know what I'm saying? And also, Devi also ended up finding out that Margot was not in class like she said she was. I don't know if I mentioned this before. But when Devi's car got vandalized, she did report it to the principal that it was Margot who did it. Margot had an alibi. She said she was in class. So the principal was like, yeah, she's in class, so she didn't do it, Devi. I don't know who vandalized your car, but it couldn't be Margot because she was in class. Turns out she wasn't. So Devi told on her again, just to find out, y'all, that it wasn't Margot. It was these new bad boys. They're the bad boys this season are the new popular guys. Last season, it was the jocks. You had to be a jock. This season, it's the bad boys. The ones that get in trouble, they steal, they skip class, they drink alcohol. It's them. And the number one guy is Ethan. She found out it was him because he wrote his T's a certain way. Like, he would draw the T, the cross T at the bottom of the T and at the top of the T. He wrote his T weird, so she found out it was him. So when the principal is finna suspend Margot, Devi comes and say the day real quick. Margot is like annoyed. The principal's annoyed because you made her look bad. She was so funny. She was so fast. She said, oh, dang, Margot, I knew it wasn't you the whole time. Okay, girl. So with this happening, Ben's decided that he is no longer talking to Devi. And that makes Devi mad because, yeah, they did do. But she still sees Ben as her friend. Like, she's like, why are you not talking to me? Why won't you talk to me, you know? So that makes her a little upset. So she decides she gonna go off on bad boy Ethan. And she takes his skateboard. And she's like, and you're gonna pay $11,000 for my car. You better get my car fixed. And then later on that night, somehow, some way, he knows where she stays. And he fixed the car. And she like, oh, thank you. How you fixed it? And he's like, I just got this can of paint. I mean, well, it was a can of something. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's paint remover, like I said. But, and he said it just cost $13. And she's like, $13? Yeah, that man's finna get you, girl. He wanted to take all your little money. She had worked with her mom. Her mom's a dermatologist. She worked in her mom's dermatologist's office just to make that $11,000. And that guy was finna take it all. He was finna scam her. You can't trust these people. You always supposed to go to the car shop with a man because they will always try to finesse a woman. That's just how it is. So yeah, he fixed the car and they have a little moment and he called her sexy. Yeah, so Devi, she was kind of feeling it a little bit. But the gag is Eleanor likes him. Okay, oh yeah. And Fabulora, she ends up like finding girls who actually are interested in STEM and wants to be in a robotics club. But the reason why they didn't officially join was because the boys in the club was making them feel bad about not knowing a lot. So Fabulora had to get on the boob. So Fabulora had to get on the boy. She had asked him this question. She was like, since you know everything, what's 2 plus 2?
Since you got your degree and you know every fucking thing.
And he was like, and now the boys around was like, turned out he didn't know everything. So she told him, and now the other, I don't know who the girl is, but now she's a part of robotics club. Girls in STEM. I love it. I love it. Episode 3. So Devi. I don't know if I be saying her name right. Is it Devi? I feel like they be like Devi, but I call her Devi because it's D-E-V-I. I don't know. So Devi is having a spicy dream about Ethan, y'all. And it could have got a little spicier. The only thing is, he ended up saying like some weird stuff in the dream. He was like, that's so hot that your friend likes me too, and you're just gonna backstab her like that. So the dream got uninteresting very fastly, I'll say. So she ended up waking up and she feels real bad. So then Devi ended up running into Paxton and finding out that he works at the school now, and now he is the school's assistant swim team coach. And she's like, dude, what happened to college? Like, you weren't even there that long. Was you there like for 2 days? You left college, you was just there for 2 days. And he was like, well, Devi, was my decision. College is not for everyone, and it is what it is. And she's like, oh, fine, okay, it is what it is then. That's what it was. So Devi meets up with her friends, Eleanor and Fabulora, and Ethan is like sitting over there, and he's end up inviting them to a house party. And in this time when they was talking, Eleanor was basically telling her, ooh, she like him, ooh, da-da-da-dee-dee-da. So, you know, she already knows she needs to back away because this is her friend, future man. Eleanor is no longer with Trent, so she's trying to get up under someone else. Because that's, you know, the saying, you know, if you want to get over one, you got to get up under another one. That's what she's trying to do with the little bad boy. So Devi is really trying to, like, back up. Even though Ethan is really feeling Devi right now, she's trying to, like, back away. Because that's her friend. That's her bestie. So they get to the party, right? And Devi immediately is like trying to distance herself. She's trying to get ghosts on him, okay? So she ends up outside drinking a beer. Ethan ended up finding her. It was like, is my party lame? Like, why are you outside? And she was like, nah, I just want some fresh air. And then out of nowhere, dude was like, want to make out? And she was like, no. And then he kissed her and she was like, I'm going to kiss you. And they started making out, yeah. And then I just knew it was going to happen. Eleanor ended up at the door. Because he didn't close the door behind him when he went outside. She's like, Devi! And he is so funny. He gonna say, Eleanor, we was just talking about. He blows me. So, Devi ended up running after Eleanor. And we find out, to my surprise, Ethan just kissed Eleanor 15 minutes ago. I said, dang, Ethan, you get around, sweetie. Like, dang, chill, calm down. Calm down, okay? Ethan a little fast. So Fabulora comes and she's like, hold on, guys, why are you arguing? Come, we're friends, why are you arguing? And she's like, and Eleanor's like,
Devi, I just caught Devi kissing Ethan.
And Fabulora's like, hold on, Ethan was just kissing you 15 minutes ago. She's like, y'all.
Look, I know I'm gay.
By the way, Fabulora's gay. Y'all didn't know. She's like, look, I know I'm gay.
So this is easier said than done, coming from me. But we should not be fighting over boys. Just stay away from them.
And that was the pact they made. Next day at school, Ethan flirting with her, come up to the locker. I forgot what he said. Dang, I should have took that note. But anyway, he don't really understand or get the fact. He don't really understand that you don't do that. But Ethan has no morals. He's a bad boy. So, But the girls decide to stay away. So Devi is by her classroom. She's peeking in, and she ends up overhearing Ben and Margot talking. And it turns out that Margot never had an issue with Ben talking to Devi. Dang, I really don't even know if I mentioned it, but Ben had stopped talking to Devi because he said Margot, his girlfriend, asked him not to. But turns out she never even asked him to do that, and she didn't even care. Because he was telling Margot, hey, I'm just going to sit back here because Devi keeps trying to talk to me. And she was like,
well, it's on you. Like, I don't care if you talk to her or not. Like, you don't have to not talk to her. I told you. It's cool.
And he was like, no, this is something I'm deciding to do, Basically, Devi ended up overhearing that. And she, she feels the type of way about it, which I understand. So after hearing that and feeling the type of way, she decides, I'm gonna go outside and watch the bad boy Ethan skateboard because he's a skater boy. So she goes outside to see him, to watch him skateboard. And who does she see outside? Well, who see her outside? Eleanor. She's like, Eleanor, what are you doing here?
Ariana, what are you doing here?
And they get into a whole argument because they're both not staying away from Ethan, even though they made a whole pact to stay away from Ethan. So they're arguing, and Eleanor was like,
you should let me date him because I seen him first. I kissed him first. I chose him first.
And Debbie's like, no, you should let me date him because of what happened with Ben and the car, like all the stuff that's going on. She did say Ben for sure. After that stuff that happened with Ben, you should let me date him. And Debbie ended up getting tackled by somebody. I don't know who, but they ended up tackling her. And then when Debbie falls, because somebody tackled her on the skateboard, Trent is right behind her. And he's like, you kissed somebody already? And Eleanor's like, but anyway, once they put a bandage on Debbie, Eleanor says,
you should date Ethan. I'm cool with it. It's cool. I was really just trying to get over Trent. I don't really even like him like that. I just really miss Trent, honestly.
So Debbie's like, cool. Since you cool with it, I'll do it. So Debbie ended up going to her car, and guess who's there? Ethan. And he asked her if she okay. Because somebody told her that she ended up flying in the air when she got hit by that person who can't skateboard for real, that was trying to skateboard. And she was like, yeah, I'm good. And then he was like, I also want to know, did you want to chill? Did you want to hang out? And she was like, yeah, but as long as you, don't kiss my friend anymore. And as long as, I'm the only one you're kissing. And he was like, yeah, understandable. He understood that. He's like, yeah, understandable, in case you just didn't notice, I had a whole growth spurt this summer. And she knew. Everyone noticed. He was like, yeah, I've been getting a lot of girls' attention, You know how you come back from the summer looking fine? That was Ethan. So he had all the girls' attention at this moment. And he was like, yeah, I've been a little greedy, but I really like you, though. And boom, it went from there. So now, there I am. Oh, yeah. So also in this episode, we had Paxton's storyline. He is partying. Homeboy ended up partying with the high schoolers. And now this blew me because, of course, he's still hanging out with Trent. That is his friend. But why are you at a high school party, sir? And his old schoolmates, they were very happy to see him. They was like, yes, dude, you are a legend. So they was really happy to see him and he was having fun. But let me tell you, as a faculty member, it is very inappropriate for this dude to be partying with these teenagers, okay? I don't know why he didn't think that through. But next day at work, Paxton's in the faculty meeting and they trying to figure out what a freaking mascot costume is because it's missing. And he's like, oh yeah, I heard a few of my students say that they use it for a non-school event. Used for a non-school event. and it's under the bleachers with throw up on it. Because they literally had the mascot costume at the party when he was partying with these teenagers. So they went to go get that. And it's also this young teacher there. Well, she's a substitute. And she's taking the place of that teacher that Devi made faint on episode 1 when she was getting into it with Margot. And she's like, hey, how you know, she was just asking him, how's he doing? You know, being back. Are the, like, students, like, treating him nicely? Or has it gotten to him of the shame or the embarrassing of having, you know, to come back? Because usually, no one really wants to be that person that graduates high school and have to come back. Like, it's kind of embarrassing, I feel, if you come back and, like, you know, the people that come back to visit so soon, like you just left and you already visiting high school. I always looked at them a little weird, like, go live your life. Like, you don't even have to be here. Why are you here? You know what I'm saying? So she was like, you know, kind of asking him, like, on that level. Like, are they treating you the same? Do they still respect you? Because sometimes they tend to lose respect for you. He was like, nah, like, not to sound cocky, but I run this school. Like, they will never feel that way about me. Little did he know. When they found out he worked there, he ended up hearing dude talking behind his back like, oh my gosh, y'all. I thought Paxton was just here for the weekend. No, he works here now. And they was laughing at him. And he heard them. He kind of felt the way about that, you know? He was like, dang. I know he was really understanding then what she was saying. You know, that substitute teacher. Because it was bound to happen. Oh, yeah. And on the side, Devi has termites in her house. And shockingly, they end up getting Margot's dad out of all people. I don't know how that happened. Margot's dad is a termite guy helping them get rid of their termites. And he done got rid of all their steps, so now they ain't got no steps. They can't go up to their room or nothing. And it's been like a mess. Okay, so now we're on episode 4. And on episode 4, Devi is officially dating Ethan. And they're very different because, you know, she's very good in school. She's an intelligent young lady. And he's a bad boy. He's bad and don't do so well in school. But the one thing that Devi do like, the sexual part of the relationship. Because that's actually what, you know, she always wanted. A sexual high school relationship. And that's what she's getting from Ethan. And it turns out it's better than when it was with Ben. So this is also the date. I mean, on this episode it's also when she gets to meet a Princeton prep. I mean a Princeton rep. Because they're having a college fair at the school. So she's excited about that. And when she's dressing up like a real businesswoman, like she's a CEO. That's what Devi was giving, CEO. She had on the business skirt, business jacket, collar shirt as well. Like, that's what Devi was giving. And she's finna go talk to Princeton because, you know, this is her #1 school. I don't even know if she applied to anywhere. But I know Princeton she applied to. So since it's like a long line at the Princeton table, Devi decides to take it upon herself and skip everybody in line, okay? Homegirl did not care. She skipped everyone in line and just started talking to the Princeton rep. And the Princeton rep was not feeling Devi. She did not feel her attitude. She was like, I'm talking to someone. And she was like, yeah, but I'm right here. That's what Devi told her. Yeah, but I'm right here. Like, main character energy, okay? And that did not go so well for Devi. Because she got excused quickly. That woman was not trying to hear her. And she looked bad. So she tells her boyfriend about it. She's like, yeah, I messed it up with Princeton, da-da-da-da. And then later, Devi ended up going back to her, asking for, like, another chance. Like, hey, I know that was rude, and I know that rubbed people the wrong way. And that make me unlikable. And the Princeton rep was like, I'm glad that you recognized that. And she gave her another chance and gave her 15 minutes because she was finna go on lunch break, so she couldn't really talk. So they ended up talking, and they ended up talking about being Indian. That's also another reason why Devi thought she could do that is because they're both Indian. So, you know, she thought she had it in the back. But they was talking and they was relating on, you know, the cultural lifestyle that they have at home. And they had a few things in common with being Indian and all. And then Ethan comes to the table telling her how smart Devi is, and he ended up stealing this poster that was like in a principal office on the wall, I think. And it had like her name at the top, and he was just saying, oh, she's very smart. And she's like, oh, thanks, babe. And it actually kind of made her look a little good, just a smidge. And she like, oh, babe, that was really sweet. And he was like, oh, you're welcome. And he gave her a little kiss on cheek. Oh. And the Princeton were like, oh, okay, I see what you got there, a little baddie. But she also told her, have fun while you can, because there's none like that at Princeton. And they was like, so Debbie and her little boy toy end up going in the supply closet and making out. And in the supply closet, you know, she's like, oh, thank you for what you did and all that other good stuff, until she sees that this boy done stole that woman's wallet. And she's like, oh my gosh, who wallet is this? You stole this from the Princeton rep? And he was like, yeah, like she was being mean to you, like, and she deserved it. And she also had some money in there, and we can go to McDonald's and get some food with it. Like, I was blown, Debbie was blown. And she was like, you know what? I understand what people are saying, because her friends were also like, that boy's gonna drag you down, Debbie. Like, he's nice to play with sexually, but other than that, let that boy go. So she was really understanding like what her friends were saying then, and she broke up with him because she said, you're not really like a bad boy, you just a bad person. So they ended up breaking up. And I was like, dang, I'm gonna miss you, Ethan. I don't know what it is about Ethan, but I was like, dang, I like you. I don't know. I don't know what it was, y'all, but I was like, I like it. They gave you a little eye candy, a little something to look at for a minute, because Ben is basically her love interest. But I ain't feeling Ben, because Ben is her competition. And I don't think you want to be in a relationship with a man who you're always in constant competition with. Like, nah, I ain't trying to compete with no man. No, I'm good. Good, man. But yeah, Debbie had to break up with him. Dang. And she also ended up returning the wallet to her house, or I don't know how she found it. I don't know if that's her apartment or what. Probably her little apartment. No, it's probably a hotel. I don't know where Debbie lives. I don't know where this is located, but I don't know. Somehow found out what homegirl is, and okay, oh, I do got tape. I'm messing myself up, and I got tape. I'll be back. Okay, I got tape. I'm just gonna have to clean that up later. She had a thought to put it like in a plant, but she didn't. She knocked on her door, and she told her, hey, I have your wallet. And the woman was like,
oh my gosh, I've been looking for that. Where you find it?
and she was like, oh, funny story. My boyfriend stole it. And she was actually pretty impressed that she actually came clean about that and told the truth and gave her the wallet. So I think that was a big up for Debbie. She redeemed herself, I'll say. And that's good. Sometimes, girl, you gotta let the bad seeds go, because they will indeed drag you down. Dang, I think this eye gonna look way better than this eye, because I did not wipe none off, but I guess it's okay. Okay, so that's Debbie, right? So Fabulora, you know, I really like that they're giving Fabulora a little bit more of a storyline this time, because I feel like usually she don't really have no storyline for real. And this time they're doing just that, so good for them. So Fabulora, it's her turn to go to the counselor and talk about what college she want to go to. And I forgot what all she said, but I really like how they put Howard in there. And if you know Howard, you know that is a HBCU, one of the top HBCUs, and Fabulora is black. So I really like that they put that in there, because usually watching these shows, they only talk about Stanford, Harvard, Princeton, Columbia, all them Ivy Leagues. And I'm like, I was so curious, y'all. I ended up looking up Ivy League majors, and all the majors, I was like, I would not want to do any of them. Like, none of this stuff sounds good to me. And then I looked up a state college, and I was like, I like their majors better. I don't know. Ivy League ain't for me. Not that I could even probably get in, but I don't want to anyway. But yeah, they always hyping up those, so I was curious. I was like, what they all about? I really want like a shimmery brown. I don't really know where I'm going with this eye look. Honestly, I have no clue. So Fabulora's telling her the colleges that she want to go to, but her mom was like, let's try some Ivy Leagues and try to see if we can get you and try and see if we can get you into early admission. And it is Fabulora. Like, she's smart as heck. Homegirl likes robotics and know how to be a robot. So I'm pretty sure she, out of all people, should have no problems, you feel me, getting into a freaking Ivy League school. But she's like, Mom, I don't even know if I even want to go to an Ivy League school. And the mom ended up asking the counselor, what schools could she get into right now? And she named a few, and one of them ended up being Princeton. And Fabulora was like, no, I can't go to Princeton. That's Devi's school. I can't take that away from her. And they're like, there's no dibs on schools. If you want to go to the school, go to the school. And then Fabulora was
like, but Mom, they're not going to accept two people from the same school. This is a public, regular school. They're not going to do that. So I may be taking my best friend's spot, and I don't want to do that.
And she was like, you will try. She's like, forget that best friend stuff. You gonna do what's best for you. And I want what's best for you, and that's what you gonna do. That's what she did. So at the job fair, she was very scared. But she did end up picking up a little brochure of Princeton. And it did catch the rep's attention. She was like, you do robotics? Because she seen her church had on her robotic shirt. And she was like, yeah. And they got to talking about that. And it kind of did strike Fabulora's attention. So when she ended up applying to the schools for early admission, she chose Princeton. So episode 5, we're finally on the New York trip that the counselor set up for them to, go tour their colleges. And what's her name? Eleanor. I think she goes to like Juilliard or something, and she tries to act, and they basically tell her homegirl, this ain't it. This ain't for you. And Devi, of course, goes to Princeton. She's finna hook up with this girl that she knew from school, who's basically just like her, who studied just as hard, who was very perfect. She's finna go hang with her and meet up with her, and she's gonna give her a tour around the school. The counselor was like, oh yeah, Eleanor, you should go. But Eleanor was like, she cut that out real quick. She's like, nah, because she ain't told Devi that she applied for Princeton. She does not want her to find out. And later, the counselor ended up talking to Fabulora, and she was like, hey, why did you shut down the opportunity to tour Princeton? And she was like, have you told Devi? And she was like, nah. And she's like, look, I understand your friend attitude. I understand she has anger management problems, but you just gotta do what's best for you. At the end of the day, that does not matter. You know what I'm saying? So she told, basically still should have went. I can tell you that it did a little something, but not much. I ain't never really used tape before. It ain't that sharp. So I feel like I'm still gonna have to use the concealer. That's sharper. Now that I like. That I don't. So, oh yeah, and Ben ended up going to Columbia, because I didn't mention that, but that's his school of choice. He wants to go to Columbia, and he did talk to the rep in the last episode, and he was so nervous about. But he's at the school, and he's very scared about fitting in, because in high school, he doesn't actually have any friends, for real. He's a loner, so he was kind of scared to do that. And he ended up talking to the college kids, and honestly, they weren't being rude or mean to him. He just was very nervous, and he wasn't really used to being around a group of people, so he didn't really do too well in that environment. So he kind of just went back to the hotel with the other students. I don't know why, but I like that. Yeah, so he ended up just going going back to the hotel with the other students, because he was kind of like nervous. He really didn't give it too much of a chance like he should have, though. Because they were really nice. They just asked the dude, hey, what you want to eat? On you, you choose. He was like, something that everyone likes, that's affordable. And she was like, hey, it's cool. He went on and on about some other stuff, but she was like, hey, it's cool. What about pizza? And they was like, yeah, pizza. I don't know. Maybe he's a little socially awkward. I can understand that. I'm socially awkward myself. But I would have stayed. I would have gave it, a chance. But he didn't. Anyhow, Devi, she is hanging with homegirl. I don't remember her name. Let's call her No. Let's call her Sam. So she's hanging with Sam, the girl who used to go to her school, who was perfect, who also got into Princeton. And she's not really taking her on tours around the school, but she is taking her to parties, and they're having fun. And she's like, yeah, we're finna meet all these boys, and yeah, college life is great. So they having fun. They at this little place. They're at a bar and they're having fun, just dancing and whatnot. And then we find out that Sam actually works at the bar, and Debbie's like, work at the bar. And then it turns out that she is no longer in school. She failed out because one, she had no break in high school. She was always pushed to do well, and her parents are no longer on her back in college. So she kind of like failed out. So she's no longer in college. She works at the bar. Now that's what she's doing. And the guy ended up firing her actually because she wasn't doing her job. And he was like, what are you doing? You're not even in uniform. And she had to go beg for her job back. So Devi ended up feeling like, dang, like if this could happen to you, perfect Sam, what's going to happen to me when I get to college? And then it made her think about like Paxton and how Paxton college experience didn't work out for him, and she ended up calling him, and they had a little heart to heart. Then her friends end up coming, and they end up finna leave, but they got caught by the teacher, and the trip had to actually be ended early because of them, because their classmates who were still in the hotel room told on them. Who asked you to snitch? They on their way back home, and Debbie's fine, you know, she's cool because her friends are good. Like, you know, the friend group is cool, you know. Ben is no longer not speaking to her. She feels, you know, she's cool. She's good. She's good. She's happy. Oh, and I forgot to tell y'all, Fabulora told Debbie that she applied to Yale. So she was asking, so she told her, oh, I'm so sorry that you didn't even get to go to Yale, girl. I'm sorry about that because of me. And Fabulora like, oh, it's okay. You cool. You good. You good. No problem, girl. Knowing that she didn't even apply to Yale. So, episode 6. It is early admissions day, and the girls are excited. Well, Debbie's excited. She's thinking about what could go wrong a little bit because of her past. Like when she got suspended for bullying Anissa. The recent thing that just happened with Margot, the outburst, when they was fighting over Ben. And what else? And something else that happened. I just can't remember at the moment. So she's thinking about all that probably could affect her admissions to Princeton, but she's like, I'm good. So the results gonna come at 4:30, and in that school day, Ben tells her that he had like a source that told him that they actually chose one person from the school, so she's thinking it's gonna be her. So she gets home, she's looking at her computer with her mom, and she's opening up the letter, and it says she is deferred from Princeton. She's like, what the heck, deferred? Who else applied? And then we go to Fabulora. And we find out that Fabulora got accepted to Princeton. And she's like, yeah, because you took Debbie's spot. Yeah, Fabulora took the spot. She took that one spot. So at school the next day, Debbie is upset. And she's talking with her friends. She's talking to Anissa. She's talking to Fabulora and Eleanor. And she's like, who else could have applied for freaking Princeton? I knew everyone that did early admissions. And I knew everyone that was applying, so I don't even understand who could it be. And they like, dang, yeah, this messed up. And Fabulora just over there sitting, not saying anything. And Anissa was like, yeah, like, I'm just happy I got scouted because Anissa played soccer. And Debbie also asked her, well, dang, girl, you think I can, like, play soccer? And she was like, girl, I seen you get winded on the escalator. And she was like, good point, good point. So now Debbie got to find like something else to do. So she ended up seeing Paxton. She's like, hey, Paxton, do y'all have something I can do on the swim team? And he was like, actually, yeah, we actually do have something for you to do on the swim team. So she goes and I don't know what the name is, an assistant. She become like an assistant to the swim team or something. Something like that. So that's what she's doing. So that's what she do now. She is an assistant on the swim team. Or a manager on a swim team. I don't know. When I was in school, we used to have like managers. The students can be like managers and they just help out with the team and stuff. So I believe that's what she's doing. On this day, the early admissions people, they usually have like a little barbecue. And Fabulora is talking to the counselor. She ended up walking past the counselor because, you know, they're getting ready for the barbecue. And Fabulora was not finna go to the barbecue because she did not want to get caught and is lie and tell Debbie that she applied to Princeton. Oh, and also at the table, Debbie had asked her, hey, did you get into Yale? Because, you know, she did early admissions to Yale. And she's like, oh, no, I didn't get in. And they was like, dang, they just ain't accepting nobody. They don't know what they're missing. Girl. But anyway, the council was like, you should go to the barbecue. It's gonna be like in the back of school. Devi shouldn't see you, so she shouldn't even know. So you should still go out there and enjoy yourself because this is a celebration for you too. So she do end up going out there, and the swim coach, go back to Devi. The swim coach asked Devi to go out to his car and get some boys' underwear. I guess that she got to watch for the swim team now. And she does, and as she goes to his car in the trunk and get the little box of the dirty underwear, she sees the barbecue celebration for the early admission kids. It's a whole lot of them out there too. And then they got this little board out there that's saying what school the kid got into and the name of the student. And she's looking, she see Ben, of course. He got into Columbia, yay Ben, his dream school. And she ended up looking and she sees Fabulora. She's like, Fabulora, what are you doing out here? And then she looks at her and says, Fabulora, did you really apply to Princeton? And as soon as she asked her, she looked on the little billboard thing. It say Fabulora, accepted to Princeton. She was pissed and she walked away. So, next day at school, Devi pissed, okay? And she's basically told Fabulora that you stabbed me in the back. And she walks away. Then, y'all, we get the counselor coming over there talking to Eleanor, talking about, oh, I need you to be here at 7 instead of 6 tomorrow. And Eleanor had like shut her up. And the counselor like, hey, man, y'all need to communicate in this friend group. And she walks away because she's pretty much over it. And Fabulora like, the heck was that about? And Eleanor walked away, but back to Devi. So she is doing whatever she's supposed to be doing for the swim team because, you know, she's the new assistant. And she's talking to Paxton, saying how Eleanor stabbed her in the back and she got accepted to Princeton instead of her. And he's like, oh, well, that's awesome. That's great. And she was like, no, she's a freaking backstabber. And he was like, he just basically had to make her realize that you're doing too much and you're about to lose a friend over this. And she came to that realization. He helped her figure it out. And she was like, you know what, you're right. So Devi and, well, the girls, you know, Devi, Eleanor, and Fabulora end up in this class. And Fabulora ended up having to give a presentation of this paper about World War I. And she ended up talking about World War I. But she also ends up talking about Devi and her friendship. And that's what it ended up being her talking about. And she's like, how you need friends. And yeah, I used to have sleepovers. Like, she really got off topic there. And then she was just going to the hallway because she got a little sad. I think she was about to cry a little bit. She said, let me go in the hallway. Let me calm down. And Devi ended up following behind her. She was like, hey, girl, I am so sorry about how I reacted about you getting to Princeton. And I really understand why you couldn't tell me because you knew I would flip out. You know, I would go crazy. I go haywire because, you know, they've got little anger issues. And that's basically what Paxton was telling her. Like, you know why she didn't tell you because you would flip out. And she was like, yeah, I really hate that you felt like you couldn't talk to me. And I really don't want it to be like that between us. And I'm so sorry. And she was like, but hey, girl, you got into Princeton. Like, yeah. And she's like, are you going to go? And Fabulora was like, well, will you be mad if I say I may not? And she was like, no, because, girl, then I'm in there. Like, that's a spot open for me. But she was like, yeah, girl. When I went, I really did not feel that spark with Princeton. And she was like, you know you ain't got to marry to college. She was like, yeah, well, you're right. You know, I maybe just be tripping. I may just be tripping. And then, girl, Eleanor go come out. And she's like, oh, y'all good? We friends? Y'all straight? They're like, yeah. And then Fabulous like, hold on, sis, but while we talking, you been acting a little weird yourself. Like, what's going on? And Eleanor was like, okay, fine. I'll tell you what's going on. I'm graduating early. They're like, what? They say, yeah, so it's no longer going to be the trio. It's just going to be a duo because I'm out of here. And she was like, Juilliard had basically told her, heck no, you will not be going here. So she was like, since she ain't going to Juilliard, she's finna be a working girl and she's finna get her acting career started, y'all. So she's finna graduate high school early and go out there and look for some work. So she's finna be a working girl. And they was like, oh, okay, girl. All right. We got one going to Princeton and one graduating early. That's good for y'all. Good for us. Nice little clique. Nice little group. Accomplishing so many things. So after school, Devi ends up going to her therapist. You know, she has a therapist. She's always talked to her therapist about her problems. And she's just talking about how she feels so mediocre about not getting to prison, and because she was deferred, you know? So she feel like second choice, she feels mediocre. And her therapist is like, well, if Princeton is making you feel like this, maybe that Princeton dream is not serving you. And Devi is not really ready to let go of that dream, because they gave us a flashback of her having this conversation about what college she wanted to go to when she was like maybe 5 or 4 or 3. And her and her dad had discussed Princeton. You remember her dad is gone. He's no longer with us. So she's probably sticking to Princeton, so high on Princeton because that's what her and her dad discussed, and she wants to make her dad proud. So she's still sticking to Princeton, and Princeton ain't going nowhere. So we go home, and Devi ended up having a conversation with her mother, and she felt like her mom was also like, her mom did not believe in her. That's how she felt. And her mom wasn't really saying that she did not believe in her. She just wanted her to be like, hey, sometimes plans don't work out, and that's okay. And I understood that, but Devi didn't understand that. So they ended up having a heart-to-heart, and she talked to her a little bit more, and Devi actually finally understood where she was coming from. And she let her know, hey, when I was in India,
She said, hey, when I was in India, I was the top person in my medical school. But when I came here, I had to start all over. No one cared how good I was in medical school in India. So sometimes plans don't work out, and we just got to make do what we do.
And Devi understood, and that was great. So the little side stories were, I forgot to tell y'all, Devi's grandma has a boyfriend, okay? And he's a white man. It's so funny when she introduced him and she said, this is my white boyfriend. I can't do that. But she's like, this is my white boyfriend. And it was like, she's like so shameful. Like I should still be, what she said? She said, I should still be getting over the loss of my husband. And they was like, your husband been dead for 20 years. You can move on. It's okay. It's okay, grandma. You've been gone for 20 years. It's fine. You good. But he proposed, and her cousin, Devi's cousin, I forgot her name is, she is not feeling this man. She thinks this man is cheating on her. She thinks that this man is out for her grandmother's money. So she is not feeling this man. So I don't know how this finna go. And a cousin also had got like a little job offer to go out the state, but she was like, she can't leave her family, so she can't take it. And Ben and Margot, ooh, let's go in. So Margot is an artist, as we know, and she ended up going to this art competition. So, you know, this is the day that Ben is celebrating getting to Columbia. And he went to see her. He seen the picture. Hey, babe, yeah. The art guy, who she's trying to impress, comes. Ben leaves. He ended up getting a butt dial. Like, she butt dialed him, and he answered the phone, and he just listened to the conversation. She didn't really mean to call him. And he's like, oh, was that your boyfriend? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, he's a little dorky. And she's like, yeah, he is. And that made Ben feel like real bad. So the next day, he wasn't really feeling Margot. He was like, that was like one of my best days of my life right there, because I got into the college that I have worked so hard to get into. And me hearing that conversation that you had with that little artist dude really brought my confidence all the way down and really messed up my whole day. And I wasn't really feeling that. I want my girl to be confident in me, you know? I want you to like me. She's like, I do, like I do. He was like, nah, I ain't feeling you. So they basically broke up. He was like, I ain't feeling you, boom. And then the next day, he ended up having a conversation with Devi. He told Devi, yeah, I broke up with Margot. She was like, oh, yeah. And that was the end of episode 6. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to do 7 through 10 in the next video. I just feel like I've been talking for that long. Yeah, I just been talking for that long. I don't want the video to be that long. It's probably already going to be like an hour. So, I don't know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, let me know, are you sad about the series ending, or you think, hey, it's cool, let's just end this thing on a good note. It's nice to know when the shows, you know when to end. Because sometimes shows don't know when to end, and they just keep it going, and keep going. And the show ended up getting really bad. And you be like, dang, I really love this show, but y'all really messed it up because y'all don't even know what to talk about at this point. And what are these storylines? Like, what is going on? So, let me know how y'all feel about the show in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, y'all. Okay? We trying to get to 1,000, y'all. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. That number is so small, but best believe after we get to 1,000, I'm I'm going to 50,000. Yeah, that's a reach. From 1,000 to 50,000. Yeah, but that's gonna be the goal. Once I hit 1,000, I know I'm gonna be able to do it. So it is what it is. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, y'all. And I'm gonna see you in the next one.
Love and the vibe. You can't fuck up the mood. You can't fuck up the mood. Yeah. Think I all star players. How the fuck we gon' lose? How the fuck we gon' lose? Yeah. I got 5 bitches to choose. Fuck them all in a row. Fuck